everyone, and welcome to Connections for Life. Ted Pete.
I'm Chad Kubo. Homer, pass it off.
Is that really beer?
No, it's Red Bull.
I knew it wasn't. I knew it wasn't. I'm Joe Surratt. I thought it was going to be Red Bull or ginger ale. That was my other guess. Ginger ale.
Oh, I had ginger ale out there.
See?
Give me the energy though.
Oh, that's great.
How's
Getting good
Homer?
at these, Coach. Getting good at these.
I don't know about that.
It's kind of like your thing now to match your entrance to the backdrop.
I know I'm running out of backdrop.
Now it's been that way for 41 weeks.
Oh,
The dog sled is still the best.
The dog sled is one of my favorites. My kid's favorite was still the one where I was in the airplane and I was sitting there and they were like, "What's going on?" And then I got up out of it. Maybe I'll recreate.
I'm actually just shocked that you have the props around your house to pull this stuff off.
I needed a glass, like a beer mug. That wasn't too challenging.
Well, no, I didn't mean today. I meant like the
The
dog
winter
sled
jacket
in the boxing gear.
Good point.
No, I mean not just the jacket, but you had the audio to go with it. I mean, come on, you put some time and effort into that. Give yourself a little pump there. Relax.
Listen,
Have a sip of your beer.
If I ever had to do anything like that where we needed wine glasses, right? You'll see we only have plastic wine glasses left in our house because our children smash them when they put them in the dishwasher.
You know what that means? It means Ted's not allowed to have glasses in his house. That's what that means. It has nothing to do with the kids. It's because you're reckless. After your sixth glass of wine when you're teetering around the house, your wife doesn't want to pick up her shattered glass. I got you.
Hey, how was the weekend, Joe?
Good. It was full of soccer. We had one game on. I don't know. We had a few games.
You getting smoked in soccer?
Oh yeah, for sure. We played the Swedish elite team on Saturday. We got a couple new used players. So
Who do you?
They used to play a long time ago with us, and then they came back for this session. But they're a little rusty. So we're getting that. We were competitive yesterday. We actually lost a game 4-2, which was our most competitive game. So other than that,
the narrative has changed because you were like crushing teams.
You were undefeated last year.
Yeah, that's because
outdoor.
So really quickly, the reason for that is because we're in an 09 league, and we only have like 4 kids that are born in 09 on our team. The rest of them are 10s or 11s. When we were playing in the summer, we were playing in our age group where all of the kids were the same age. So, it's just a bloodbath. It's pretty hard to watch, but I can barely talk because I scream so much during it. But and I grew this boil on my face over the weekend too, so I got that going for me.
Nobody can see it, just so you know.
Look here, there you go, right there.
The boil. Stressed out from soccer.
I'm 43 and
breaking out in hives.
43
like
and still getting
from something about Mary. He's breaking out in the boils on his face.
Teddy, what did you do?
It's great. What did I do? Coach basketball.
Yeah.
Pretty much from Saturday morning till yesterday at 7.
I watched some hockey on TV with Logan, but other than that, I really didn't do anything all weekend. It was great.
I'm envious.
Didn't do anything.
That's unusual for you, so enjoy.
Yeah, it really is. It was awesome though. I didn't
enjoy it
yesterday.
Okay. Well, I think it's time for the update on the current UPSCO Expo.
Oh, the UPSCO Corrosion Expo. Yes, for all those waiting patiently in front of their computers, the website is live and registerable, if that's a word. It's upscoexpo.com. You're going to see some really good people from the utilities, also some really good vendors as speakers and teaching in the classes. We have the basics course, which takes you literally from basics of corrosion, basic cathodic protection through all the way through the basics of corrosion mathematics and a bunch of other classes. And then we have some specialized tracks, which I'll save for next week, so we don't just keep droning on. But we'll start hitting here every week, 1 or 2 classes coming up, and keep trying to get more people to come. So, Joe,
how's the registration stuff looking so far? How are the numbers?
There's about 3.
Well, we launched it Friday afternoon.
Me, Joe, and Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's been good. I mean, everybody's been really, really responsive. All the presenters and the people have been extremely gracious with their time. and working with us to get all the things that we needed, biographies and course naming and all of the other things. So it's been good. I think we're really excited. We're at a point now where we can actually breathe a little because all the content for the web page is built, all the registrations are built. So now it's just everybody's just got to register and sign up. We'd love to have the more the merrier. It's free. And I don't know, Chad, I wasn't paying attention. They were also able to offer PDH credits for folks. So, that's a big thing when everybody's sitting home. Some people have requirements and things that they need to do to keep licenses and all that jazz. So we're able to also offer that with a little combo effort with AMP. So good stuff. We're excited. Well, there'll be more information. We'll be talking about this for the next 6 weeks. You'll get bored of hearing about
Unfortunately for you guys.
And we are.
Oh, that's great. No, I'm excited for it again, as I mentioned last week. But so let's get to our guest today. Today we have Greig Sandiford, who has been managing director of MBW Europe since I was born. Basically, from 1989 to 2021, Greig has been handling all things MBW in the UK and every other continent besides the United States or North America. So, without further ado, welcome to the show, Greig. It's on Connections for Life.
Hi guys.
What's up, Greg? How are you? How are things over there in the UK?
We're busy at the moment, even through this COVID lockdown.
It's amazing, isn't it?
You guys doing the same thing we are, I take it?
This one's not as bad as last year, but the motorways are still full. People are just making different excuses to get around the rules. You can't go to restaurants. There's no pubs open, but there's a lot of other shops that were closed this time last year. They are open.
It's got to be killing you. No pubs.
No, traveling bills down big time. We're all going stir crazy.
Hopefully we get out of this pretty soon, man. I know it's been a long road. We've had, the 2-week shutdown is now almost 12 months. So we're all kind of, I think, feeling the same pain.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. We'll ask our first question that we always ask. Greig, how did you get your start into the natural gas industry?
Well, I started with MBW in 90, and my job in those days was demonstrating our concrete finishing side. And the boss at the time, he'd been on a trip over to the factory, came back with this soil pit. It's kind of like, what is that? And he was excellent at marketing. So we had literally hundreds of inquiries, but all of them. I set off and nobody knew what this thing was about. Only we started with the SP80, which works on a single tool compressor. And over here, this market's dominated by 125s. I never really saw a great deal of benefit in the 80. But once I got hold of that 125, we started to push it into the gas distribution networks. At the time, everything was nationwide. Everything was kind of nationalized, and it was Transco. But they were all split up into different regions. So our most local Transco would be Transco Northwest. We got a few units in there on test, and eventually I broke into a few training fields, and I gave the soil pit to these guys and a bunch of literature, and all of a sudden the phone started ringing as the gas lads had all been in on training, came back with this great idea of a soil pit. So we started to get successful in about 94, and demonstrations all over the country. Got to stay with the operators all the time, make sure they fully understood it, make sure they use it correctly. And then in 98, I took over the business, and in 2000, made a concerted effort to go back into the utility market. We three divisions within the business. Compaction, where we make plate compactors and rammers, concrete finishing, so anything on wet concrete, and the utility division. And it struck me in 99 that our other divisions were all subject to the vagaries of the economy. So if the construction industry was going well, we did good business. Well, it's cyclical. We decided, nope, they're always going to dig holes. Whether the country's in trouble, closed, the economy's down, they'll always dig holes. So we made a concerted effort in 2000. And that's when we really started to pick the big number of orders up.
That's pretty amazing that one product. I mean, you went from starting in concrete finishing essentially to that one product of soil pick from MBW that actually led you into the natural gas utility, which is it's pretty interesting and neat. I think that's unique in itself. It's pretty neat.
We had patent protection on it, on everything. Nobody could come close to us. The president of our business was pretty strong on defending our patents, so we were on our own. We were on our own for a while. And I went over to the factory, I did a presentation to the old man, the old president of the business, Frank Moultrie. And he said, you know,
shout out to Frank. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's a presentation in a limey accent. He said, but it's typically an American presentation. He said, it won't work over here. So I had a friend over at MBW Polymers, and I'd spoken to him, and he said there's an exhibition coming up in Binghamton, and his son would be there. So I had a personal friend, a school friend that lived in New Jersey. So I didn't speak to Frank about it. I didn't get approval. I jumped on a plane, went to New Jersey, and the guy from MBW Polymers had a bit of a problem. So he couldn't collect me. And I said to my pal, I'm in a world of trouble for this now. I've dumped £1,000 on a ticket. When the old man finds out, there's going to be trouble. I said, take me to the airport so I could pick up a car. I might as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb. And I said, 5 o'clock drive, not knowing who I was meeting. So I stopped. There's a service area about 12 miles out of Binghamton. And the colleague of MW Polymers guy who was otherwise detained, he called and he said, you're looking for a guy called Dan Pajak. So still no idea. I go waltzing into NICEAG's office and I met him in the dining room and we got on like that. So from there, he invited me to the show. So typically British, I've got to be black suit, black tie. And I wander into this exhibition and everybody's severely dressed down by our standard. Ran into a guy by the name of Lenny Perfetti, and he said to me, you know, you sound like you know what you're talking about. He said, but you've never done a day's work in your life. So I said, get me a compressor. So we get a compressor. I've got a $1,000 suit on. I trashed the suit and I dug up the atrium. Plants all over the place. And Lenny was like, okay, here's the order. So we've got to go back again to make a full presentation to NICEAG. And at this point, I took Andy Moultrie with me, who's the current president. Mm-hmm. And we made the presentation, and Andy's in charge of navigation. This is before sat-nav and all that carry on. He's in charge of the maps. Only we're driving back to New York City, and I don't know the USA, but I know that Gettysburg is not near New York City. Where we were. So we're completely lost now. So I went into a bank, of all places, to ask for directions to New York City. So an Englishman with an English accent asking, excuse me, can you tell me where New York City is? And that's the beginning of MBW USA, their attempt at their entry into the utility market.
That's cool.
So I have to jump in really quickly because the name of the show is Connections for Life. All right. And I knew none of that story that you led, that you just said.
Because you skipped the pre-call.
No, I didn't. I was on part of it.
Saying.
Work.
I'm sorry, Greg. This is my normal life right here.
So the names you just mentioned, for one, I live 45 minutes from Binghamton, New York. Okay. That I live in Elmira. All right. You went and met Mr. Lenny Perfetti. Okay. Now Lenny's daughter and my wife went to high school together. And that dog that was sitting on my lap prior to us pressing record, his daughter is the breeder of my bulldog family. She's Lady French. And that's where so connected all throughout this thing. Little did we know, it really speaks to that, 6 degrees of separation or however the case may be, Greg. But that's funny to me.
That's weird. Yeah, that's a totally bizarre coincidence.
What a small, weird world.
Lenny literally has my dog's brother.
That's funny.
Same litter. Lenny has
so weird.
I have one of them.
Oh, sorry. That is a good one though, Ted. That's a good one.
So
So
like, I gotta talk.
you like that? I like that. Greg, you talked about a lot of stuff that may even hit a little bit of the next question that we have for you. But you're based in the UK, and obviously we're in the United States, and you've had the luxury. I have not. Joe has not. Ted has not had the luxury of seeing the gas market in a foreign country, really, for the most part. I mean, other than Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, what are a couple differences, big differences? I think I know a couple, but just give us a few differences in what you see as the market, how it's different.
I think the biggest difference that I noticed was I met operators that were buying their own tooling, that were buying their own shovels, and then that's not allowed. Everything's provided by the utility companies over here, and best practice, they're all trained to use it properly. I always thought that the USA was a home of litigation where everybody sues each other at the drop of a hat. Yeah, the operators, I asked a few of them, what happens if you hit a kid? Well, we lose the job. Well, it doesn't work like that over here. There's much more of an emphasis on making sure fundamentally that operator is safe. So when I first started selling the soil pick, I was selling the soil pick to avoid striking a fiber optic cable. In the mid 90s, they didn't have the splice technology. So they got a relay like a mile fiber optic. But then now we don't even worry about that. Everything can be repaired. It's the operator that we focus on, making sure that he's 100% safe.
Yeah, I think you talked about the soil pick. There's another product, the ErgoTamp, that I think kind of the brainchild came from you guys. Isn't that correct? Like over there, and you want to just tell us about the safety impact and why that happened, and a little bit more.
And that really goes right into that same question we just asked. Really, the difference between.
Yeah, I mean it's just a safety thing, but I found that to be very interesting how it was received in England, but not so much in the US.
So here in the UK, the pogo stick is what we always referred to it as. That was big in the 70s. It's taken over by rammers. And we make rammers. So we were always a big supplier to the gas industry, to the utility industry in general for rammers. And we were approached. They wanted a lightweight compactor, but they didn't want the hand-arm vibration from the lightweight compactor. That's when we spoke with Frank and Andy, and they developed the suppressor, which significantly reduced the amount of hand-arm vibration. And basically, they wanted to use such a small compactor around what they call street furniture. So that'll be like lighting columns, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But because of our presence within the utility industry, that when they've got a problem, they'll call us. Not just us, they'll be one of a few suppliers.
Makes sense.
And in particular, they came to us in probably 2004. They wanted to find a way to reduce the hand-arm vibration on a breaker. And studied the market. Atlas Copco is a huge player out there. And I took the view, if Atlas Copco can't find the solution, then it can't be found. So the solution we came up with was we started getting involved with Minic on a vertical drill for bar holes. And my take on it was, instead of reducing the hand-arm vibration on that tool, take the tool out of the operator's hands. Have a completely different platform. So we introduced the Minic vertical drills for bar holes. The gas industry came to us in about just as the recession started in 2007, and they had a problem they'd analysed and calculated that 90% of the gas escapes were occurring on bell joints. These are cast iron mains.
Yep.
They came to us and said, we want you to make a tool that'll find this bell hole. So we started researching it, and the product is a magnetometer. Magnetometer measures the Earth's magnetic field. So the increase in metal mass on a bell joint would spike the magnetometer. So we buddied up with another American supplier over there and sold thousands of magnetometers. That we went through a huge amount of trials. Our initial trials were something like 80% success rate, which was enough for the guys. And then we improved upon that. So basically, they could now drill down with a minute vertical drill right on top of the bell joint. Introduce an anaerobic sealer, seal it from within, minimum. Away you go.
That's awesome. That's a huge problem here still. I mean, that's awesome. I never even knew that.
Yeah, me either.
So there was a supplier up in Green Bay, so a few hours north of MBW, and he claimed he had a polyethylene locator. Well, here we go. This has got to be the answer to all of our prayers. Only that didn't work. I only ever told the old man, I only ever told Frank Moulter of the successes. There's an awful lot of things that we've played with over the years that they didn't make it at all.
Sure.
I like the freedom of being able to express ourselves in that market and find a solution. The strapline, I don't know whether it's still there now, but it was for many years. But MBW, solutions that last. And providing innovative equipment is something that properly drives.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly seen some cool stuff out of you guys with the ErgoTamp, the VEU. I mean, specifically on the utility side, things that didn't exist before. So just really, really neat stuff. We just wanted to switch gears. I know we could probably talk to you forever about the difference between the United States and the UK, but one of the things that we've all been dealing with is COVID and the pandemic. And obviously the creation of the show and the way that we do our job is much different than it used to be. Just want to ask you, how has your job changed and how has it changed your daily activities? How are you guys getting through that?
Difficult one. I think the truth of it is probably on a day-by-day basis. Try and do the very best we can. We're all carrying laminated documents that are provided by Cadent, which is our biggest gas distribution network. And that document states that we're a key supplier. So we've got to be available to these guys. So even during the primary lockdown, that was more severe than this, I had one in the office and I had one in the warehouse. And normally our staffing level's 12.
Wow.
All the telephones were transferred to our people that were remote. We've just found different ways of being able to communicate with people. But we've always been supported by FedEx, who turn in every single day, collect at 3 o'clock, deliver the product somewhere else the following day. Any training, we've done the Zoom thing to try and get the message across, or we shoot a short video and bang it over on WhatsApp. You just gotta
be creative.
Think outside the box, right?
We've got to continue. We've got to keep those doors open. Unfortunately, because we've got the approval from Cadent, which was previously National Grid, we can travel around. We can go anywhere. But I kind of take the view that we're all responsible for our own health, but we've also got to respect the health of everybody else. Just, the place is walking with sanitizer and sticker masks. But
I grew my own.
We're just doing it.
I guess, Greg, all those things, and it's fun to talk to you just because obviously it gives us a different perspective on the world and the industry that we live in every day, essentially. So one of my questions was, I know some of the products you have are a little bit different, but do you guys have any different products in the UK than we have here in the US? I do know one that we try and promote a little, which is like the water attachment for the soil pick and some things like that. But are there any bigger things? I mean, you just told us about that bell one I never heard of. So
a magnetometer.
Yeah, that was like a 50-cent word. I'm like a nickel guy. So
not wrong.
Forgotten about the water attachment. We have the water attachment. We also have one for descaling a cast iron main. You've got to be kind of careful around that, because if it's still a live main, we don't want to be injecting anything into that gas environment. Several different products that we've got. The magnetometer, ErgoTamp, as you're aware of. The development of all of these things has been driven over here because we've got such a relationship, particularly with the gas distribution networks, that they'll come to me and say, have you got a solution to this? We made a mobile core and back unit, and I know that that's available over in the States, but we wanted somewhat smaller to suit our own domestic market. Our roads aren't like yours.
Yeah.
Then we ran into somebody else's patent, so we kind of pulled that back. If they come to us with a problem, we will do our level best to solve it. We recently were approached by the Energy Innovation Centre, and they wanted us to change the ergonomics on our soil pick. Well, I did that back in 2017. We changed everything.
Yeah,
purely.
I remember.
The contractors who've got they've got enough testosterone. They've got certainly more testosterone than the rest of us, that they're complaining that the forearms were aching. So we completely changed all of that, changed the castings, changed the materials. And basically what we did was go back to our existing market and say, look, give us all your old ones. There's an amount of money going to change hands here, obviously in our favour. But here you've always the upgrade of this, and because there is, now that solves the problem of RSI, repetitive strain injury. Again, everything is aimed at protecting that operator.
Right.
So you can use the soil pick in its present form for extended periods. We supply. I opened up Gaz de France. We've sold many units over in France because they're very, very socialist, and they've got a massive to protect their employees.
Greg, I always hate to say it like this, but whenever I end up traveling with somebody from MBW, I feel like you guys, when I explain like the ergo tampon, I feel like you guys are actually more advanced than we are as far as the safety side of it, like 10 to 15 years. I mean, even what we see in electrofusion processors and things like that come out of the UK, it's just been such more advanced technology and so much more. It's almost like an art. What these guys do in the UK, they're trained to do it, and they show up in white lab coats and do some pretty neat stuff. Here, it's just a little bit different. And I know Teddy deals with that a lot too. It's completely different market.
So, but honestly, it just feels like like I was saying, that you guys listen to what the market is screaming. You know, when it comes to safety, or when it comes to advancement in technology, where it comes to, hey, there's a need, so we must. All right, our product had a hole in it. Let's improve the product because we listen to the people buying. And that's just, that right there, I think, is the number one way to do business, no matter whether you're selling widgets, machinery, or sewing needles. That's just tremendous. So kudos on that.
Yes, the old sewing needle market.
Come, Joe.
I don't think you can improve on the sewing needle.
How many
Sorry. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Greg, we're gonna wrap. I know that we try to keep these short, man. We could talk to you forever. You know that. I mean, I think on our pre-call we talked for an hour, and I wanted to talk to you an hour more. It's been a long time since we've seen you. I wish we could get over this pandemic, and we could get over there, or you could get over here. It's always fun to hang out with you and hear your stories and your funny voice. At least it's funny to us. So with that being said, buddy, thank you so much. Stay safe out there, and hopefully this all ends soon and we can start to put everything back together the way it used to be.
Awesome.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Greg.
We really appreciate it. Greg, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you coming on the show. Another awesome interview. I know I'm always excited with each one of these here as I learn something.
It was interesting to me just to figure out what he said the whole time.
We need subtitles, Chad. Make it happen.
Yeah. Well,
did he throw out a bloody?
I just found it funny with the connection part of it. Like, Dan actually messaged me after we interviewed him and goes, "How do you know Lenny Perfetti? I never introduced you to him. He's old school NISAG." And I'm like, we have our dogs are brothers.
How did Dan know?
That's funny.
Yeah. So Dan knows Lenny from NISAG.
I know, but Dan hasn't seen the interview yet. So how did he know?
So Greg and him must have been texting.
Gotcha.
Greg was like,
it was top secret information.
I was wondering. I was like, what's he got? Like some background, like bootleg way to get to our stuff?
Our computers are hacked.
No, I just want to say thanks to Greg. I got to meet Greg. Chad and I did a couple of years back down at the World Gas, and we had a ball together. He's an interesting guy, a lot of fun. A lot of funny jokes. And Greg, if you're watching this, thank you for all the texts that you're now sending to me. He's got a lot of funny stuff on there. So it was really nice
Thank you
seeing
for not texting me those things. I appreciate it.
I'll give you Ted's number.
Lots of fun insight, Joe. He has a completely different way of looking at the industry, probably because he's from the UK, but just kind of fun to talk to somebody that sees it differently from just a different vantage point, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it was just really unique how they operate over there, and hopefully people got an understanding of that and hearing Greg. So before we beat the horse completely to death, what are we doing next?
Well, Chad's still slamming his pint down there.
Yeah, what do you got? You got some Duff?
Duff. So, with just a little industry update briefly, DCA has postponed or delayed the annual meeting again due to COVID restrictions and whatnot taking place. There's no new date released on that yet, and UCT has moved from May to July 13th through the 15th in Nashville, Tennessee, as well.
I'll bet you $10 it doesn't happen.
I don't want to take any bets from you. I'm still sore over the Super Bowl thing.
Yeah, you still owe me 20. We'll do double or nothing for the Cowboys. Go for it.
All right, I'm double or nothing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
You got me hooked in.
All right, where we go. I'm gonna get you up to 1 million soon.
Your interest.
Other than that, I don't know any other updates. How about you guys? No.
I think everything's.
Time.
Oh.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna try another interactive because I had some weird stat ones and they weren't all that cool and fun. They were kind of. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think? What material was the first gas pipelines made from?
Elmira, New York had wood.
Pretty much. I mean, the United.
I don't think Elmira, New York was the first gas pipeline.
No, but here it was wood though.
It was everywhere. It was wood a long time ago, but I don't know if that was actually even the first thing to try. I want to say wood, but I don't know if it's right, just because I've seen many pieces of wood cutouts and things.
It's a kind of wood.
I'm gonna go with balsa wood.
You should just turn your camera off and walk away right now.
I'm gonna say pine, knotty pine.
Pine. Where was gas first? Come on, guys. Come on.
I mean, this is all we got. This is
bamboo.
Oh, makes sense.
Look at that. Doesn't it? Now that I say it, they used to fuse it together. No, I'm just kidding. This is another interesting one. So if you were to take all the natural gas pipelines in the world, and you were going to go to the moon and back, how many times could you go to the moon and back if you laid them all in line? 1, 5. Don't say something ridiculous.
I can't remember how far the moon is from thing, but if Ted's phone rings again, I'm going to punch him in the face.
I just was silencing it.
Virtual face punch.
I'm trying to think about how many millions of miles of pipeline there are in the United States.
Just throw a number out there, man. We're going to belabor this. Huh?
3.
Teddy?
7.
The answer's 3, Chad. You actually got it right.
No way.
Yeah. According to this website.
Sucks.
Yeah.
It was actually that was actually like an obnoxious.
Actually, let me find out when this was published. It might have changed.
Suck at this game.
It was from a few years ago, so it might be a little bit longer now.
I thought it was gonna be like 4,000, and I answered 3, which was.
We'll go 3.5 because this article's a little old, but yeah, 3 times. I thought that was cool. I mean, again, that's a long ways, but to the moon and back 3 times. So
that's awesome. That was a good one, Joe.
Smidgen.
Another fun one.
Smidgen.
Yeah, we'll go back to some hard facts. I had another one. Just to throw it out there, just because I wrote it down. Everybody talks about greenhouse gases and being more efficient and reducing that. A lot of electricity is produced by natural gas. We've talked about that in the past, but by taking natural gas versus coal, it reduces greenhouse gases by approximately 55 to 60% of what coal is. So, I think the fossil fuels kind of all get a bad rap, but I mean, if you're looking at it in terms of the most efficient way, I mean, natural gas certainly is leading the charge. So, I don't know, just some cool stuff for this week.
That's a good one. I like both of them.
Thanks, man.
Well, cheers. What do we have going on? Do we have any other updates or anything we want to share, or are we wrapping it, folks?
I think it's time to sign off.
Yeah, just go to we talked about it in the beginning there, but go to upscoexpo.com just to register for classes for the Corrosion Expo. Everything's listed on there. There's some bios for the presenters and speakers. So a lot of good information on there. I give Chad a little credit there for creating.
Little tire pump.
You were all the writing part.
It's a combo effort. I'll just give you a little bit of tire pump there.
I appreciate that.
Other than that, Let's go.
Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining us. Remember, click, like, subscribe, all of the above, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, guys.